we dropped a bomb on all y'all. Well, not really, the Fed did, but we did break it down for you. Now, here's the deal. This stuff may be boring to you, but it's not to me, and it's the biggest thing we got going right now, and I want to stay on top of it.
To recap, we basically explained why rates jumped so fast last week and the potential harm the Fed's policies would cause in our industry. Since then, we've seen record sell-offs in both the stock and bond markets, and rates have moved faster than most of us have ever seen.
And oh yeah, that first-time homebuyer you were working with that was pre-approved for 200 grand, well, they're now only approved for 175 grand due to the higher interest rates. Fun times.
All in just 7 days. Now again, we all need to stay on top of this story because it affects everything we do as realtors and loan officers.
So we now know the Fed acted like a giant weight over the past several years, pressuring interest rates lower. And we now know the Fed wants to remove this weight. Interest rates being coiled like a spring reacted as they should. Now, let's look at the worst case scenario and work from there.
They say the likely consequences of a pullback in QE would be disastrous. Interest rates are already rising rapidly based on simply the expectation of tapering. But the fact is the mere anticipation of such an event has already sent mortgage rates north of 4%, and without a lifeline from the Fed in the form of more QE, those rates will soon exceed 5%.
This increase will greatly impact the housing market. Speculative buyers who have lifted the market will now become sellers.
More foreclosures will hit the market just as higher home prices and mortgage rates price any remaining legitimate buyers out of the market.
Housing prices will fall to new post-bubble lows, sinking the phony recovery in the process.
The wealth effect will work in reverse and spending and confidence will fall. Unemployment will rise and we'll be back in a recession even before the Fed begins to taper.
Now again, that's most likely the worst case scenario, so let's take a look at the opposite of that.
Well, it's simple, and some economists truly believe this is going to happen. The Fed see the error of their ways and not only continue their downward pressure on interest rates, but place even more pressure on interest rates, lowering the rates yet again, and we all continue this utopia of lower rates and low house prices.
Could be, but I'm not so sure that that's good for the economy either for the long haul. Now, just for fun, let's just do this just for fun. Let's look at a third option that may sound way out there, but not completely out of the realm of possibility.
The Fed figures out they can't exit QE. The market finally figures out that the recovery is a sham.
Investors realize that years of QE have only enhanced the problem that it was meant to solve. The grim reality of infinite QE sets in, the dollar drop, gold climbs, and the real crash is finally upon us.
And we all buckle up and buy our personal survivor bunkers now.
Now, if we take all three and mesh them together, what do we get? Perhaps a more realistic scenario? Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, here we go. The Fed tries to remove the weight and downward pressure on interest rates. The market reacts negatively, like it did last week. Rates rise. This slows the housing recovery. This pushes some buyers out of the market. Some stay in just at a lower level. GDP comes in lower than expected. Oh, that's right, it already did. Lower GDP coupled with a stalled recovery forces the Fed to rethink their policy. They don't remove all the weight, rather remove small sections of the weight over a longer period of time, lessening the impact on the market over time, and we gradually return to a normal market that is not dependent on the Fed.
Rates get back to a normal range. This attracts private investors again. Housing appreciation finally jumps off the roller coaster and remains steady. And hopefully we finally learn from our past mistakes and we don't see the super high highs or the super low lows, and this will result in a much healthier market and much healthier occupation for all of us.
Oh, jeez, I don't know if I can take it anymore. I think loan officers and realtors should be at the top of the world's most stressful job list right now. I mean, we work really hard these days and then deals fall apart at the last second. Realtors, you guys have to call and deliver the bad news to the sellers. Loan officers, you have to call and deliver the bad news to the buyers. Those are always fun phone calls to make. Not to mention what you knew yesterday in this industry has now changed. I mean, who can keep up? Oy vey.
I think I speak for all of us when I say that let's just get back to a normal market already.
What do you guys think? What scenario do you support the most? Worst case, best case, or our case? Let us know down below and we'll see you guys all next week.